Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Thursday, January 30th, 2025. It's good to see all of you. It's really good to see all of you. Arlene and Tracy, Penny, it's good to see you. Thank you for keeping us on track. It's broadcast 1230. Susie, Adele, it's good to see you too. Welcome, everyone. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. Michelle, Boker Tov, waiting to see our Facebook friends jump up. Shari, good to see you. Mark, nice to see you too. Dale, Barbara, here we go. I can see it starting to populate. Tara and Debbie, Penny and Cecile, Linda, good morning. Hi, Lisa. I hope that you are well. Let's see who else is here, friends. We're going to say good morning and then get started with a blessing for learning. Julie Ann, Deborah, Lisa, and Amy, Haley, good morning. Hi. Debbie and Stanley, hi. It's nice to see everybody. Hi, Cecile. Susan and Diane, Boker Tov. Lisa, hi. Sending love to the Bay Area. Stacy and Cindy. Cindy, you're nursing a head cold. I hope that you feel better. Sending love all the way to Augusta, Maine. Janice, nice to see you too. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Jack. Minna, yes, it is Sunday. Good to see you. Let's take a breath. Hi, Catherine. Sending love to Australia. Let's take a breath and learn some Torah. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. It is broadcast 1230. It is day 482 of war. We are riveted, so many of us are already writing about it, by the release of hostages, 3 Israelis and 5 Thai hostages. I want to recite their names, friends, because if we call them hostages, we are reducing them to what terrorists have done to them. And they are more than that. They are sisters and brothers. The Thai nationals and the Israeli nationals are our sisters and brothers. And when we have been saying, bring them home now, we mean all of them. We do not mean some of them, and we certainly don't mean only the Israeli citizens. We mean everybody. And what I'd like to encourage you to do before I say their names, friends, is if you're on Facebook, you'll be able to see this. If you're on Instagram, please go to the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. Just do a Google search for Bring Them Home Now. You'll find it immediately. There is a list of all of the hostages, including those who were released in the first stages of this agreement. Please, friends, right now, you can click on that link or you can find it online so that you can remember the names of all of the hostages, those alive and those not, and be attuned to this, because we are not done, and we will not be done until they are all home. And today, friends, today, I'm going to begin with the names of the Thai nationals because they deserve to be named too. They are our brothers: Pongsak Tena, Satyan Suwanakam, Wachara Suraun, Banawat Siato, and Surasak Lamna. There is one Thai hostage that we believe is still alive. His name is Pinta Natapang. There are two Thai hostages who we believe were murdered on October 7th: Sutisak Rinthalak and Sontaya Okarasri. And I pray for forgiveness with the mispronunciations that I think were inevitable, but their names matter. Trust me, with someone whose name is Menachem, I am used to people doing their best, and I've learned to be gracious. So they are our brothers. The five of them were free today. Two of them were murdered October 7th, 2023, and one of them we are still waiting for. The Israeli hostages who are home. Agam Berger is home. Arbel Yehud is home. Gadi Moses is home. And I am assuming, friends, that you have been paying attention, as I have, to the images of reunion with their families. It's on my screen. It's all I see. I woke up for some reason exactly at 3:30 in the morning this morning. Just, I don't know why. And I saw that Agam Berger was being released. And the difference between this charade, this cynic display, as if this is a release ceremony, handing her a certificate. Hamas is terrorists, and they are pretending that there is a stage of civility and statescraft involving this from their side. There is certainly not. And whereas there has been mistake after mistake made on the Israeli side, no doubt, the difference between negotiating for the freedom of our sisters and brothers and negotiating, as Hamas is, for the release of murderers. Agam, Arbel, and Gadi. Gadi is 80 years old, and if you watched, friends, he's not walking well. And Arbel is 29, and the difference between Agam's release, which had that fake stage set up with Red Cross workers who are nothing more than taxi drivers for all they've done for our hostages. I'm watching on my other screen, and I know I'll get to the Parsha if I can. Arbel and Gadi were almost lynched in Khan Yunis at this release. An 80-year-old man who cannot walk well, forced to walk quite a distance. We are made of steel, friends. Look at who we are. And before I get to the Parsha, and before I let myself become or remain completely consumed by these images and clips, let me also make sure, because here we are, friends, here we are, all of us, we have all of our broken heart in our hands. The Torah gives us guidance. We as a community support each other so we can live and find meaning and find hope and look for the light and be helpers. All of the things that we always talk about. It is who we are. And so we need to make room in our hearts, friends, for the tragic loss of life near Washington, D.C., the crash of a passenger jet carrying 64 people and a military helicopter holding 3 soldiers. And it was just announced that there are no survivors expected. I am not holding that loss of life and the situation of the hostages and 482 days of war in the same way, but I'm holding it, and I ask you to hold it with me too. To speak with kindness, graciousness, grief and comfort, ferocity, dignity. We need to be able somehow to wield our hearts in all of their fullness as we do our gentle healing work and as we fight for our freedom. This is not easy, and it brings me to the Parsha. I hope that you'll look at the videos at the broadcast from yesterday and the day before, because they were gentler than this one will be. The necessity of compassion I talked about yesterday as a legacy of being a descendant of Avram and Sarah. In fact, yesterday we looked at the phrase Erev Rav, the mixed multitudes that left with the Israelites from enslavement in Egypt. That mixed multitude was connected with our people. They weren't our people, but they are our people. We all traveled together, and whatever would happen to us would happen to them. The connection between the Israelites and the Erev Rav is essential. The fate of those who bind themselves to us is our concern. It is our people. When we say bring them all home, we mean everybody who was taken. And so the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, and the Thai citizens who were murdered or just released, this is all our people. Until the world can come to a place where we know as a universal truth that we belong to each other, it is our obligation to remember our obligations for all those who are near to us. As the Declaration of Independence in Israel, Megillat Ha'atzmaut, says, we extend a hand of friendship to all. Today I want to look at the other side of that, friends. I can't not see it. I really am watching on the other screen right now what was almost a lynching of an 80-year-old man in Khan Yunis in Gaza. I'm looking at the horror in the eyes of Agam Berger as she is held by her parents. This is what I want to say, my friends, and it's not easy to say. Parshat Bo, this week's Torah portion, includes the final 3 plagues. And those final 3 plagues, friends, were terrible. And it required 3 more terrible plagues before we were free. Torah is a complicated thing. It's not just a text. Torah is a framework for living. It is a diving board for continued Jewish growth. It's an examination of an ancient way of seeing God. It's the birth of our identity. It's a family diary. It is all of these things. Torah is a sacred gift that we continue to give every next generation, continue to comment on, to have broadcasts about, to learn. It is a magnet. It is love. Torah is so much. Torah is also, friends, a reminder. The world doesn't have to be this way, but too often, especially in Jewish experience, the world is this way. Yes, we are called in this week's Parsha to treat Ezrach v'ger Toshav with one law, to treat citizens and residents, what we would call immigrants, asylum seekers, the Erev Rav, those who travel with us who are not our tribe but our people. This complicated negotiation is a recognition that all people have the potential of being family, and the Torah demands our hearts be that open. But in that journey towards freedom, there are those who would stop the march. Not just by saying slow down, as during the American Civil Rights Movement. Some said, including faith leaders, including a few rabbis, slow down to the work of freedom marching. No, I'm not talking about that kind of wrongness. I'm talking about an almost lynch mob in Khan Yunis today and the Egyptian army in this week and next week's Parsha chasing a beleaguered, newly freed people, threatening to kill them on the edge of their freedom. Gadi Moses is 80 years old, and we almost lost him today. Arbel Yehud is 29, and we almost lost her today. Because as opposed to Agam Berger, who is 20, we almost lost today, who is on a stage intentionally in front of cameras, Hamas trying to make the world see something that is not true, gaslighting the world into thinking that there is dignity and protection to the hostages who have been tortured for 482 days, as opposed to the semi-controlled environment that Hamas tried to stage. We saw mobs of people, and it's hard to say who's a card-carrying member of Palestinian Islamic Jihad or a card-carrying member of Hamas. I don't think that those were only card-carrying members of terrorist cells. That lynch mob was people. And I'm not making a comparison, but lynch mobs in the American South were also people. The degradation of other human beings is something that is not unique to this moment, but it is happening in this moment. And as the great Maya Angelou said, when someone tells you who you are, don't believe them. But when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Today, the inhumanity in Gaza was on full display, and that doesn't describe every human being in Gaza. It certainly does not describe the babies of Gaza, and it does not make simple the task of rebuilding both physically and metaphysically all that has been destroyed and devastated. It doesn't speak to the moral culpability of Hamas for the degradation of its own citizenship. It points to a very different way of being. In our Parsha, it required the plagues for us to become free. And yes, when we remember the Egyptians, we reduce our joy during Seder. We don't sing of their death. We're told in the Midrash, we're told by God not to sing at the death of any human being. Of course not. But we have been forced, as Rabbi Aaron Lichtenstein of blessed memory said, to wield weapons in our own defense against our will. We have been forced to learn how to use power, to become masters of force. But if you look at Kikar Hatufim, Hostage Square, and you compare it to Khan Yunis, Kikar Hatufim was packed with people crying for the release of sisters and brothers, children and grandfathers, Thai and Israeli. Khan Yunis freed hostages barely made it out alive. Children in Khan Yunis, standing in front of masked terrorists, gave victory symbols. What are they being taught? Most of all, friends, I'm looking at the faces of Agam Berger, Arbel Yehud, Gadi Moses, so grateful that they are alive. Oh, the healing ahead. This work, friends, will be lifetimes, and I invite you to be more deeply involved than you already have been. The strength of our people is unfathomable. Our determination to remain human in the face of inhumanity is praiseworthy. We must remember to hold on to our humanity, but we cannot ignore, friends, the inhumanity of those who would cause this. We have to teach our children to be proud of who we are and proud of our homeland. Are we perfect at statescraft? No. Is there a whole lot to discuss in the inner workings of the Israeli government? Always. It's a messy democracy. Benjamin Franklin knew that about the United States. We know that about our baby homeland, just 76 years old. The healing ahead will be immense, my friends. And in order for us to have the capacity, in order for us to be physically safe to do that healing work, we cannot ignore the inhumanity that almost swallowed up Agam Berger, Arbel Yehud, Gadi Moses, and 5 Thai workers, whose names should also be known. This Parsha is not a simple one. I've never liked it, really. I like the good parts. But the plagues always threaten my sense of self, my theology, my belief in a gentle God. These plagues are so hard. And the death of the firstborn, I remember how it was depicted in the animated movie, Prince of Egypt, which I try to watch regularly. The death of a child, of a firstborn child. When I fast as a firstborn child myself, Erev Pesach, just before Passover, I am so grateful to be alive and so sad that the firstborns of Egypt died. But again, friends, and this is so hard, what did it take for us to be free? Hundreds of years of enslavement. What did it take? It took the plagues. It took the plagues. It took shows of awesome force. Otot umoftim. I don't share these thoughts lightly. I don't share them casually, and I share them with no joy. But again, as Maya Angelou taught us, and as we just witnessed in Khan Yunis, and as I see, especially on the face of Arbel Yehud today. She's our daughter. Especially on the face of Agam Berger today. She's our daughter. Especially on the face of Gadi Moses. He's our grandfather. Sometimes it takes plagues. My eyes right now, as I cry, are the tears that are also the drops of wine or grape juice that reduce our joy. But this is the mandate right now. The overlay is unfortunately too clear. Oi to Egypt, devastated with every plague, over and over, until finally our ancestors, hundreds of thousands of hostages, were made free. And even then, they chased us. That's the Torah story. Well, if I change some of those words, Oi to Gaza, that was devastated over and over, until they would set us free. And even then, they chased us. Before we sing Hatikva, let me ask you to pray. Pray for the healing of Agam, Arbel, Gadi, Pongsak, Satyan, Wachara, Banawat, and Surasak. Pray for the release of the rest of the hostages. Keep track of who they are. Know their names, know their stories, and double down your support of the work that we are committed to in the long term for their healing. If you haven't made a gift recently to UJA, do it now. It's not the beginning or the end of our fiscal year, but our work is full force, full steam, every day. And also pray. Pray with me for a world where the Torah's narrative doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't have to be like this. The Torah has always sensitized us to when it is like this. But it doesn't have to be like this. It shouldn't be like this. The people of Gaza deserve better. And our family deserves better too. So pray for a world where this doesn't resonate anymore. For everybody's sakes. And if you want to send a prayer for healing to Agam, to Arbel, to Gadi, to Pongsak, to Satyan, Wachara, Banawat, and Sarasak, send that prayer too. Let's send our hearts to the east. Kolon Malevav Penima Nefesh Yehudi Homia Ulefate Mizrach Kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvateinu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim Liot am chofshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liot am chofshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow.